So we're going to do a blade change here on the Wood-Mizer. We're going to pull the covers off. And this machine here, we have a hydraulic tension over on this side. I always back that off. And usually run the screw out of way, so it gives me some room here to get the wheel pushed in. So I run it out about an inch and a half there. And just push the wheels in like that. It loosens up the blade nicely. So Mr. Mel and I can get this blade off of here. So, don't know if any of you guys know how to do this. It's something to learn. Actually, you should have a heavy set of gloves, usually like leather or something like this.
I'm going to go ahead and take over a translation here as we had a little noise disturbance. If you ship your blades back to Wood-Mizer, they put your blade in a type of bow tie form similar to what Sasquatch just demonstrated. However, we choose to fold up our blades completely for space reasons, and he's going to demonstrate that. You put your fingers at approximately 5 and 7 o'clock on the blade and swing the top bar back and forth to gain momentum. He then crosses his arms with a twist in his wrist, and the blade should fold into itself. This takes quite a bit of practice and a lot of muscle control, and height doesn't hurt when trying this. Here he is showing how to unfold the blade. This also takes a lot of muscle control.
And so basically have your hands about probably 30 inches or so apart. Kind of get it going like this, so it wants to go, and just like that, like you're gonna hug yourself.
It's a lot harder than it looks.
That's pretty much it. That's how I fold up a bandsaw, Sasquatch style. Alright, so we're gonna unfold one here, it's a sharp one. So this is what we get here in Oregon. See the rust on the blade? That's not a good thing. We got so much moisture in our air here, and it's what we call salt air. So if you don't doubly protect your blades, you can get some of this if they sit around for a while. It really, it's not good. Main thing is you don't want to get any pitting on the teeth themselves. And so anyway, again, this is an 049 inch and a half keen saw. And I don't even know how many times this blade's been sharpened, quite a few. These blades run really good on this mill. Now I will say this with the keen saws, we have gotten some breakage. Some of them, for some reason, some of them run longer than others. I don't really know why. We try to keep them changed out here pretty often. When the blade starts, when it starts working your engine, you can tell the blade's getting dull, get it off the mill. Because what happens is you actually develop stress cracks down in these gullets right here where my finger's at, and you get a stress crack in there, and after a while the blade breaks. So it's real important when you're grinding the blades as well to grind some out of that gullet to get rid of that stress crack if you can. So anyway, we're going to put this blade on the mill and get her going. So when we put the blade on here, on this particular mill, we leave about 1/8 of an inch on the back of the wheel. So back here where my fingers are at, we let it overhang about 1/8 of an inch. And it seems to work out good for the roller guides that I use. Now the roller guides I have are actually for 1¼ blades. And I tried using the 1.5" style roller for this mill, and they didn't work out for us. What ended up happening is the blades got sharpened down. The roller was riding out here on the edge of the gullet, causing vibration. So we decided to put the old rollers back on, and it's been working good ever since. I'm gonna pull this tight, recheck our distance here, and so this is one thing I've always found interesting, guys, about Wood-Mizer. So You can like Wood-Mizer, you can hate Wood-Mizer. But I will say this. What I've learned with this mill is, for the money, they make a pretty good mousetrap. And what I mean by mousetrap is, there's a common joke, you know, invent a good mousetrap. You know, it works, it catches the mice. Well, anyway, this thing cuts boards. So, one thing that a lot of people criticize is this. See that right there? People say, oh, that piece of crap can't make a good board because that side out here is not supported. Well, I'll tell you what, like I said, love Wood-Mizer, hate Wood-Mizer, whatever your opinion is. The fact is these things saw accurate lumber. We've proven it time and time again. So the cantilever patented design that Wood-Mizer has works. Am I going to say it's the best? No, I'm not going to say that. Do I think it should be supported out here? Yes and no. Yes, from the standpoint it would be more stable. But no, from the standpoint that I can actually saw a 43-inch diameter log on this mill when other people can only dream of it. Because if we have another post out here, now all of a sudden you're limited to what the carriage can actually go over. So with the cantilever design, it buys you a lot of extra room out here for those big beefy logs. And yes, we have had logs on this mill that we should have never had on this mill. But the fact of the matter is, we could do it because of the cantilever design. Now, one of the things that really irritates me about Wood-Mizer is they run a very small diameter wheel. Now, just something to remember is because of the diameter of the wheel, remember, metal fatigues. And I'm no metal scientist, but I know this much. The more you crimp that blade around a tight surface like this, the more breakage you're going to get. That's why companies like Baker and some other companies, they run a much larger wheel because it doesn't crimp the band as much when it goes around. So they don't get the breakage that we get on this. That's why the max blade I can run on this is an 049. And even with that, I'm getting a lot of breakage over time. And it's because of the metal fatigue of it bending around these little stinking wheels. And another thing, yes, these are basically hay conveyor wheels. They're off of a hay conveyor, folks. Yeah, it says Wood-Mizer on it, but I've seen wheels just like this on a hay conveyor, and guess what? It even uses a B51 belt. Right there it is. So anyway, you know what? It works. I don't like this chintzy belt thing in here. I think it's a joke. I like the steel on steel wheel on the metal. I think it's a better deal. These things cause a lot of issues. So, but anyway, all in all, it's like Henry Ford, you know. Model T may not have been the best car, but it's what they had at the time, and he supported it with parts and service. And I'm going to tell you what, guys, parts and service of Wood-Mizer is phenomenal. Phenomenal. And we'll have another video based on that fact. Keep tuned about the edger. I have a little different opinion about that. We've done some videos and stuff to start with on the edger when we first got it, and now I can kind of give you guys a little more overview on how we felt about that machine. So anyway, the Wood-Mizer, if you guys are looking for a sawmill, I will say this: these are the best portable mill I think that money can buy, because they set up very quickly, and they make nice lumber, and they get it done. Do I like some of the Mickey Mouse stuff that they have on them? No, it's frustrating. Like their 12-volt system they have, it's a nightmare with all the salt air we have here. It's a nightmare. But the mill works, it gets it done, makes nice lumber, and Wood-Mizer is phenomenal to deal with. That's been our experience with the Portland branch, Portland, Oregon, and a fellow up there by the name of James. Very nice man, knows his stuff, and he's gotten us out of so many pinches it's not even funny. So it doesn't matter what kind of machine you buy, if you don't have parts and service behind it, it ain't worth the powder to blow it away. Anyway, hope you guys have found this interesting, and hopefully we can keep sawing away here today, and hopefully this blade will last some distance here for us. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Sasquatch out. Hi folks, Sasquatch here. Well, we're doing another video here today. We have a redwood log on here that's actually a little bit on the ugly side. We got some shake here that goes around the log. I'll come around here and point it out. It's pretty obvious, but basically, so we got some shake right here. We got ring shake right here, and then our our basically stress crack or whatever kind of goes in this direction here, and then obviously we have some weathering cracks that come in these areas. So again, don't really know what we're going to have until we actually open the thing up, but anyway, we have this one here. It's a 10-foot log, and as far as measurements, this is not a real big one. Again, it's a top out of a tree, obviously. It's 24 inches there. So, and then we got the mate to it. And so anyway, so kind of a bittersweet for us, folks. This is the last two old growth redwood logs we're going to be doing for a while. Things have changed for us, and this is the last two logs we'll be sawing for a while. You guys need to stay tuned. There'll be exciting things coming up for the future, and I hope you guys enjoy this video, and we'll see what we get out of this thing. So, all right, Sasquatch out.
Anytime we put a new blade on the mill, we will start the mill and engage the blade. The tension will go down and will require retensioning. This is what you can see Mel doing right now. The blade continues to require tensioning until we complete the first few cuts.
6x6 as we can get. So basically I had enough room there between the heart and that crack to get one off the top. At least I think so. So it's kind of a gamble. We'll see how it turns out. Right now we're going to do it all